So we are joined with Paul Hyland and Shelly Hyland from Paul Hyland Salon and Day Spa, located at 318 Memorial Drive. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Good. The sun's shining today, so it's a good day.
Yes. So I know that the plan right now in Illinois is to hopefully enter into phase 3. So when that happens, are you guys hoping to be able to open up right away, or are you guys going to be taking a little bit of time to get situated first?
No, we're going to be planning on opening right away as soon as we can.
Yeah, we want to hit the ground running. We're hoping the governor makes a formal announcement so that we can start booking appointments. We're like a dentist office. We run off of appointments. So it's difficult for us to plan without something really certain, but we're ready to go.
Perfect. And do you have any safety precautions that you guys will be implementing that maybe you haven't done in the past with everything that's going on?
Sure. So I think our business has always been considered to be very clean and antiseptic. We take a lot of pride in sanitizing everything. We pay a lot of attention to detail. We're actually regulated by the state. The state actually has regulations on the books for sanitation, and we've always kind of gone beyond that to provide a safe environment for our clients. So we're really familiar with all of those virucidal products that are out on the market for salons to use: Calvicide, Citricide, Barbicide. We use those regularly. They're hard to get right now. I think a lot of businesses that never paid attention to sanitation that are reopening and now have to do some type of sanitation are tapping into the salon industry and buying our supplies. So it's been a challenge, but we bought quite a bit before we closed. And we've been buying regularly as we've been closed, as we've seen it available. But to answer your question, yes, we're going to step it up. We obviously now have to do much more sanitation in between every client. We're telling our service providers to book extra time, 15 minutes. They're not used to that, to make sure everything's sanitized and to step outside, take their mask off, get a breath of fresh air, and regroup for the next client. We're also going to be having our clients use the waiting room in our parking lot. So when they arrive, they're going to call us, and we'll either go out and get them or call them and have them come into the building. We've got a touchless infrared thermometer available. We'll be taking temperatures. They'll be signing a waiver stating that they don't have any of the symptoms of COVID. And then they will go to our hand sanitizer station, sanitize their hands, and then head off to their service provider. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We also have lots of PPE. We've got masks, we've got face shields, we've got a lot of protocols in place. We have gloves. We have masks available for our clients if they don't have it. I think one of the big things we did, and it's kind of exciting, we just did this yesterday. We were working with a local company who we're very, very grateful to, because they allowed us to set aside a couple of these, for lack of better terminology, they're air scrubbers that are put into our HVAC system. And as the air flows through the HVAC, it removes contaminants like viruses and bacteria. It also removes dust particles, allergens, VOCs, things like that. So this will be continuous. It works on surfaces as well. So we're trying to go all out and provide the safest environment for our staff. We want them to feel comfortable coming back, and also for our clients.
Can you take us back to the beginning of this? Was there kind of a period of time where people were canceling appointments before you closed, or was it just an abrupt closure? And then what does that look like for you in terms of your employees and yourself since you were forced to close?
Well, when it first started to ramp up, we did have a lot of people that decided not to commit. We were monitoring our staff as far as symptoms of the information we had, but we didn't have anything in the salon where we sent them home. We had clients that were calling. All of a sudden, they were very concerned about coming in. They were scared to be next to other people. And when we did close, obviously, anyone that was still on the book, we had to cancel them. Unfortunately, we couldn't reschedule because we did not have a rescheduled date or when we could reopen. And now we're having clients that are calling, emailing, texting, When can I get in? What day will you be starting? So as Shelly said, as soon as we have a absolute firm date, we want to be able to hit the ground running. We're putting together partitions to go between our nail technicians and the client, between our styling chairs, which we will only be able to use half of our chairs so we can self-distance. We're trying to take every precaution we can.
Now, the PPP loan process, a lot of local businesses, we've talked to restaurants that have received those, but there's a lot of stipulations that people probably don't understand. And during the process, those stipulations have changed. And then, you know, you kind of get the rules for it. What has that been like for you to get that, and what kind of rules are there? And how does that work with your employees?
So when we were first closed by the state, we went to our insurance company because we have business interruption insurance, and we thought, oh, we'll file a claim because our business interruption insurance would cover 12 months of lost revenue. And we thought, okay, if this is going for the long haul, we're going to get through this just fine. And we quickly found out that our claim was denied. And then we found out that insurance companies throughout the country and really throughout the world are circling the wagons and denying anything COVID related. And so now the lawsuits are piling up. And unfortunately, once the attorneys get involved, I think this process will take a long time, and it'll be too late for most small businesses that need the revenue. So we heard pretty early on about the PPP program, or some whispers about it. What I did and what Paul did is we reached out to our local state representatives and our local Congress people. And we reached out to people on both sides of the aisle and waited to hear back. And we did work with a couple state representatives that were awesome. They emailed us, they called us, they talked to us. And so we got some good insider information about the PPP loan coming through. And it sounded like it was going to be contingent on us keeping everybody on payroll. And that has since changed. People that laid off their staff, they were able to jump back into it and get the PPP loan anyway, and then rehire their staff. But for us, we started getting everything ready. We spent days getting the paperwork ready, scanning, not knowing exactly what we needed, but just scanning everything that we had from a financial standpoint and business standpoint. And we worked with a local branch of a big national bank, and we're told, yeah, you'll have no trouble getting this. And we applied, and then this bank dragged their feet. And we got nervous because every day we would see the reports of the money being depleted more and more. And we were very nervous that we weren't going to get this. So on a Sunday morning, I was talking to our payroll service, and Mary Miller, and she said, hey, try American Community. The community banks are stepping up here. So I had everything scanned. I sent it to the loan officer Sunday morning. He approved us within a day. 2 days later, the money was gone for that first round. So we were very, very thankful. I mean, I think this is kind of a situation where our small community banks really stepped up. We heard from other banks that did the same thing. So we got funded. For us, it's not a problem to spend 75% on our staff. We have 30 people working for us. So we're very, very payroll heavy. And it won't be a problem for us to use the money and to make sure that we're complying with the rules to get the loan forgiven. So we're on track for that. We've been into it for a month now. So we're hoping to reopen maybe next week. We don't know yet. And we'll use up the money for sure.
So I have a couple questions more focused on your business. I know you were saying that you're hoping to open up, but I know with salons, there are certain things that are a little bit harder to do with the regulations that we have right now. So are there any services that you won't be able to offer when you guys open back up?
Well, at this point, the only thing that we're really hesitant on is facial waxing. We'll do brows, but we won't be able to do lip waxing at the time. just because the client would have to take their mask off, and the proximity of the technician to the client. So that's one that we're uncertain of at this point. And then we are looking into and making sure we have precautions to do everything else that's on our schedule.
I think in terms of looking for guidance on what we can and can't do, the state of Illinois has been a little slow, I think, giving us any guidance. We're looking at the CDC guidelines, OSHA guidelines, industry guidelines, and what other states are doing. Other states have printed out on their state websites specific things that they expect salons and spas to do. We haven't received anything yet, so I think Governor Pritzker is always a little bit late providing that information, and it's hard for businesses like us to plan because you know, scheduling and what people are going to be doing and getting all the PPE and everything else in place for that. So I think for any business, dealing with uncertainty is difficult, and so you try and guess as best as you can, but last minute changes are going to be difficult. If he suddenly decides that we have a capacity limit in our building, that would be difficult.
The other thing that's making it a little bit difficult is trying to figure out for supplies for product. When we have to order them on a normal basis, we'll place an order one morning. Some companies will have it the next day, some it's 2. Right now, we're looking at 10 to 12 days delivery because the warehouses are slow. They're at skeletal crews. So trying to figure out, do we order now for next week? Do we wait and see if we're going to be open next week? You know, it's very, very difficult. And without clients coming in, it's a lot of money going out that we're having to support the business with.
Yeah, I think a lot of people we've seen things written in comments that, oh, you got bailed out, you know, and yes, we're very, very grateful for the PPP loan. It has helped us to keep our staff, who we love, intact and ready to go, and keep in touch with them. Our biggest concern was their welfare. We've got single moms, you know, we've got people on our health insurance, and it was really important for us to keep them on payroll and keep a steady paycheck going to them so that they didn't have so much uncertainty. We had a lot of uncertainty, but they didn't have quite as much. So, but the PPP doesn't cover everything. You know, we still, even with the payroll going out for the PPP, we still have to pay the payroll taxes. You know, we have workman's comp insurance that we have to pay for, even though there's nobody that's going to file a claim right now because nobody's in the building. We have business insurance, we have software fees. You know, the list goes on and on. So it's a lot of money going out right now where we don't, you know, have any business revenue, which I'm sure you're hearing in all your interviews with businesses. It's been difficult to work through and quite stressful, but we're trying to do the right thing. So we're trying to keep our staff going and hopefully get back to see all our clients real soon too.
So if you had a message for your clients in terms of reopening and how they should approach this and kind of how they can get appointments when you're going to reopen, what is the process? What should they be doing?
In 2 words, be patient. We'll get to everybody. Because we can only self-distance, we have 12 styling stations and 5 nail tables. We'll only be able to use 6 styling stations at any time and possibly 3 nails if we have partitions, which we're putting together today, literally. So we'll get to everybody. Everybody can't be first. We'll do the best we can and work with us. It's kind of like a new business opening with a soft opening. We've got things to work through that we've never faced before. How many people we can have in the building, how many support staff we can have, all those types of things. So there's just, the clients, be patient, we'll get you. We'll get to them.
Yeah, and I think for us, and any small business owner right now, we've had some incredibly down days. And again, I'm not belittling in anything about our hospital workers. My God, they have just had a lot on their plate to deal with. But from a small business standpoint, we've been in business almost 36 years, and we've been through 3 recessions, and we've worked through that. This has definitely been a challenge and a bit isolating, I would say. We don't, we're sheltering at home and trying to do whatever we can to stop the progression of this so we can get back to some type of normal. And we're anxious to do that safely, of course. We don't want to jump the gun and jump into this before it's not safe. But it's been, our clients have sent us emails and messages on social media. Oh my God, it's been heartwarming, really, and has kept us going. Our staff has kept our staff going. They're in touch with their clients. I think, we do have such a wonderful community here. It's been very good. I mean, shout out to American Community for helping us. The company yesterday, 5 Star Heating, that let us set aside these 2 scrubber units without knowing if we were going to go ahead with them or not, and working with us and then installing them yesterday. Just things like that just really is heartwarming to us, for sure. We're anxious to get going again.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for having us. We
Yes,
appreciate it too.
absolutely.